this one? No, it's this one. Yeah. What in the world?
Oh wow, this is really nice.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You've been missing out. You've been missing out on the lives. And this is the caliper we're at now.
I love it.
Guys,
It looks awesome.
If you're chilling in the chat, say what's up.
Say what's up. Say what's up.
Hope you guys are doing well.
Click the link below. Sign up.
Got Mr. John Dane.
Sorry guys, Slack message real quick, and then I'm done.
Hit the Slack message, bro. Got Mr. John Danes here with us today. Super stoked to have him here. Came about 22 floors up.
12.
Oh, 12 floors up in order to meet with us today. So, he came a long ways. Yeah.
I worked hard to come here.
His Louis Vuitton flip-flops today. If you guys like this format, let us know. This is going to be something a little bit new that we're going to be trying out from the old office here. Are you going to show them my Crocs?
This is what we got on feet today, guys. Fit check.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about being comfortable, That's what it's all about. So we're rolling with this format.
Cool.
This is something that we've been doing for a while now with the live streams. So I hope that you enjoy it. But
yeah, this is cool, man. Just
wanted to jump in today. I know you don't have a lot of time, but thought we'd just do some Q&A. People jump in on the chat. They can come in and jam with us as well. But Michaela, what's up?
I'm taking this off since I didn't.
Is that a pink Starburst C4? You bet your ass it is. Let's go. It's truly the best flavor out of all the flavors. So, if you guys are curious,
you can't be saying that. They didn't pay you to do that.
That's true.
You got to take the logos off, man. Here's what I'm drinking.
Nobody knows what.
Nobody knows what that is. Okay.
So, we have John here. He's a great resource for when it comes to a couple things in the agency space.
I like to say that I know a thing or two.
Yeah, particularly sales. That's kind of what I know you for. You're just like the sales guy. Sales king in the agency
I'm the
space.
old used car salesman of the agency space, right?
Yeah. And I guess we'll just kind of kick things off. Where did you kind of learn some of the sales acumen that you picked up over the last few years? Who do you pick up from?
I'm gonna actually give you some never heard before stuff that I'm gonna talk to you about.
I'm very curious if I've actually heard this.
Okay, you haven't. Nobody's ever heard this. Never talked about it on the podcast. Right. I don't even know if Adam knows this. So, okay, when I was growing up, I played travel baseball. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so travel baseball is expensive. It's historically expensive, right? You got to pay for your travel, obviously.
It's travel baseball.
It's travel baseball. Your uniform. It's expensive. You know what I'm saying? And your parents take time off of work to go and stuff. So it's yeah. So my dad had this bright idea that what we would do is we would sell these coupon books to raise money for baseball.
Yeah.
And so me and all the kids on my team went out and did this. And this may sound like we were all impoverished. That's not what's happening. It was just the parents didn't want to spend their money to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to, really talk up the story.
Bro. We used to do this too. This is something that if you played travel sports that you would do.
You would do.
Yep.
So I was really good at it. And when I was I guess I was probably 11 or 12, but I was just really good. So I would sell out my coupon books every time I would go out.
Yeah.
And I was better than everybody.
Okay.
And it was cool because, dude, regardless of what age you are, when you're good at something, you like it regardless.
Yeah.
Dude, if you had LeBron James basketball ability, you would love to play basketball, right?
Yep.
More than likely. So that was my first experience with selling. So I was I'm good at this, because I've always been kind of charismatic and loud and that kind of thing. So that was my first experience selling. It was 11 or 12. Nobody knows that.
That's incredible.
That's shared for the first time. But yeah. So getting into the agency world, even when I didn't really have any case studies or an agency, me and Adam were still ripping deals, which was kind of crazy. We'd go meet people in person, and they'd be like, "You can do this," and we'd be like, "Yeah, we can do it," and then we'd still close deals. So it was pretty crazy. But I think I just understood the fact that if I wanted to grow agency, you have to sell the agency services.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a balance, right? You can't just sell and not fulfill, and you can't just fulfill and not sell. So I don't know, man. I think that a lot of it was from practice. I was doing really well for a while, and then I actually hit a big slump.
Hmm.
And like I never had a slump before, really bad slump. Like, bro, I couldn't close anything. And so that's when I started working with Cole Gordon. And then I think I'm one of the only people that I went through his program twice. So he sold me through the program twice, which was like such a good salesman.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I was learning every time because I wanted to go back and get more coaching and learn more and that kind of stuff. And in the beginning, when he was first scaling, like you could get a lot of one-on-one with him. And he'll still do one-on-one with the people that are in the mastermind like I am. But like I got a lot of one-on-one with him, which was awesome. And just going through his program helped a bunch. But I think more than anything, bro, it's just taking calls. You got to just take calls.
It's reps.
It's reps.
Yeah.
Because it's like I would, if I had to pick between two people, right? Either the guy who has read every book, done all the courses, done all the education, versus a dude that's just like taking 200 calls. Because everybody's like, when you first get started, you're really afraid of people being like, nah, I don't want it,
Yeah.
And so you have to detach from that, because for a lot of people getting started, that's what they're the most scared of, is that people will say no, because everybody hates rejection.
Right.
It's like in everything. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of a roundabout way to answer your question, but
yeah, no, it's I picked that up from you, is like just getting more repetitions in, and for me, like we just had to book more sales calls before we got good at it, and our close rate has drastically increased since building out a demo deck that you actually helped us build out, and going through certain sales processes, practices, such as like battling certain objections that you hear regularly, and it's been a game changer for us.
Yeah, I think you got to take if it's a new offer, I think like you need to take at least 30 to 50 calls.
Yeah.
Before you can even make any assumptions about anything.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Which is like, for most people, like they take 3 calls. You probably get people that DM you. Dude, I took 3 calls, bro. I haven't closed any. Like, what should I do?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
take
like,
more calls.
take more calls, because, you could like, and there's also, you have to understand about sales, is like, you might have a week where you just talk to a bunch of people that, you might just have like a bad week. Like, that's part of it, So, yeah.
Oh, our camera just shut off. Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Okay, there we go.
Spitting so much fire that
the camera just shut
100%.
off.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're in the chat, say what's up. If you got questions for John, he's got about 40 minutes here that he can come and jam with us. So drop some questions in the chat with us. Would love to answer any questions that you guys have today. When it comes to,
see, that's behind, right?
Yeah, it's slightly behind.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is where we'll read the questions here.
All right.
If they have
this one.
They'll pop up on both. I think this will be a little bit sooner, but we'll be able to see it better here. So
cool.
We got a few people in here with us. So at what point was it like, okay, like sales is no longer really the problem in your agency? Like, when did that kind of start happening?
Well, it's going to happen twice.
Yeah.
For everybody, right? Because it's going to happen with you, and then it's going to happen with your sales team.
Yeah.
Because it's like the two skills are so much different: sales leadership and then sales, being a salesperson. So if you actually had to choose one, this might sound obvious, but to a lot of people it's not. You'd actually want to just be a better sales leader.
Yeah.
Than a salesperson.
Yeah, because then you can delegate.
Exactly. So it's like, I think that, so for us, it's actually was twice, right? There was a time that sales was a problem when I was taking calls on the phone, and then I got up to a point where I could pretty much just slam them, and then I was like, okay, cool. And then you get off the phone, and then your team, you got to get them up to speed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of people struggle with getting their reps to be able to close deals. It's hard, Because if it was easy, like everybody's agency would just scale like wildfire.
Sure.
Because you would just be like, oh, I just need more reps, and I'll have 15 people, and then we can just close 15 deals a day. But it's not the reality of it. So I don't know. I would say getting the reps to perform, I would say probably the beginning of this year we really like dialed it in and got everything really cooking.
Yeah. I feel like people always think the grass is greener on the other side.
Absolutely.
What are some bottlenecks that you're currently facing right now that you're trying to overcome?
Yeah. We're sometimes in some uncharted waters. So it's like knowing how to solve certain problems that you're having. So for instance, like we're trying to deal with, like collections and finance and that kind of stuff. So just that's a big one right now because it's like when you enroll a ton of people, you're gonna have failed payments and
Yep.
you're gonna have problems. So just combating those problems, and then just the sales leadership has been really good lately, but it's just that's a tough thing to crack. Getting everybody to do what you want them to do, and especially when people are commission only, getting them to move in the right direction. I'd say those two are big. Finding good client success is always a tough one. I think like good client success people are just as scarce sometimes as media buyers are. I know it's impossible to find media buyers.
Yeah.
But I think it's also tough with client success. Um, Finding good client success.
What do you look for in a good client success person?
It's a good one. This is a tacky answer, but I like people that have good sales ability because like client success is sales.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people say it's the third sales team, right? You have your setter team, closer team, they have your client success team. And if you look at it, most of the biggest companies, their client success team is what's driving like the majority of the profits and the big packages and stuff like that. So, good sales ability, friendly. I like them a little older personally. That's just a preference. It's a nice to have, not need to have, right? But it's like, if you have a 19-year-old kid, not that they couldn't do well, but it's like I feel like it's just easy to yell at a 19-year-old kid or not know what they're talking about. You have to have frame as a client success manager, right? So it's like if you have no frame and you don't have like leadership and knowledge and they don't like look up to you almost, like the clients don't almost look up to you, then it's like impossible.
Yeah.
Because you're telling them, hey, you need to do this, do that. You got to be kind of assertive.
Yep.
Because a lot of people, when I first started, my honest thought was just like, hey, I just need to get some really friendly people that are sweet, maybe even some like nice women that are sweet and kind, but it's like that's not all it is. It's not just somebody to be nice and kind, and it's like they have to be able to solve problems and coach and
right.
I think Foz does a pretty good job at this. It seems like
Eric.
Yeah,
yeah.
He seems like he's done a really good job.
Yeah, he's got great coaches in his program for sure.
Yeah.
Rub Zahid Media. If you guys got questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat for us. Appreciate you guys coming today. That's awesome, man. I'm trying to think if I have other questions.
You go.
This was a very spur of the moment invite to bring
okay.
John on.
Yeah.
What are kind of like the can you share anything about your new venture at all? Or?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So John and I've been chatting about this a little bit, but want to share just a little bit on kind of what you're up to over the next 90 days.
Yeah. So we're firing up a new agency.
Number two.
Two.
Because one wasn't enough.
One's not enough.
Yeah.
I like agency.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't like agency and they hate it and they like they just and that's fine. But my experience is there's pain in the ass, but there's pain in the ass with any business.
Sure.
So I really like agency. I low key, never said this publicly, but I feel like I would like to have a Alex Hermosi like acquisition.com type thing for agencies.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I don't know, it could be a really good business if it's ran right, MRR, profit margin, if you do everything right, set it up right, it can be a really good business.
Well, and if you have two cash flowing agencies, you'll probably cash flow enough to acquire other agencies.
Thing, right?
Right.
So, yeah, we're starting up a new agency in the mortgage space. Gonna get, I'll be back on the phone selling again and stuff.
Let's go.
I'm going to try to do a lot more outbound with this one because what we did with Lead Jolt is we got to 50K a month-ish with outbound, and then we got ads working really well, and then outbound didn't seem like it was worth it anymore. So it's like if you're getting 5 clients a month from outbound or 7 clients a month or 9 clients, whatever the number is, and you're getting, let's say you're getting 7 clients a month from outbound, and then you're getting 19 a month from paid or 20 a month from paid, you might just be like, oh, we just need to double down on paid. But in reality, those outbound clients, as you know, really drives down your CAC.
Yeah.
So you can actually spend more on ads if you keep the outbound spending. But the problem with outbound is it's just a pain. It's a lot to do.
Well, so I know you had some of it delegated at one point in time. What made you I don't know, either stop that process or it seemed like it was like a well-oiled machine at one point in time. what made you guys stop the outbound process?
Just because the ads started working so well that I was just like, we'll just do ads only and don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, that was a mistake. So what I want to do with the next one is I want to keep outbound going and just always have outbound.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not spin it back up for the current agency?
We're going to.
You're going
Yeah.
to. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, because it seems like when it comes to like diversifying your lead generation channels, it's a extremely smart move to make sure that you're not so reliant. Because like what happens if Facebook just like crumbles?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's like you're at the mercy of
of course.
Facebook.
100%. Yeah, and another thing that I've been thinking about too is I had outbound working when I really didn't know about like writing copy or marketing or so now it's like I feel like I have a lot of things that I've learned from ads that are actually going to translate really well into outbound.
100%.
So yeah, we're gonna do it for both.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think it's smart.
it's always easy to start something fresh. I'm sure when you were running your agency, right? It's like when you're making when you have a bigger team and you have more variables and stuff. It's harder to put like new changes in place. They roll out a lot slower.
Are there any other acquisition channels that you're looking at? So you got paid, you got outbound.
Well, outbound and content go hand in hand, right?
Sure.
So, because like especially if you're doing social media outbound, well, if you have good content on your social media, that's great. I don't really want to play like the game of like going on podcasts really or speaking as much. I think it'd be cool to go to some events and set up booths.
Yeah.
Like real estate events, conferences.
That's
what
Eric Foss does.
Yeah.
He does an excellent job of like just like within his niche. He goes to like every event, possibly like all the big ones, sets up a booth, buys a sponsorship and he just shows people how they can make more money for service.
Absolutely. So I think that the trifecta would be really good paid strategy, really good outbound, kick-ass referrals.
Yeah.
I think that's where we want to go. And I think that if you can get all three of those working, it's just you have no you're just unstoppable.
Yep.
Like if your outbound's working, if your paid's like because you got to think, dude. Like our CAC on paid ads, it changes every day, but it's very strong. Our paid ads are very profitable. So if we can have very profitable paid ads on top of outbound working, because like what's outbound going to cost you? At scale, you got setter commissions and stuff, but for the software, the tech stack, maybe some VAs, $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, maybe, let's just say it goes up to $4,000 a month on outbound. And then that's landing you 10 clients a month with a $400 CAC on a $2,500 a month offer.
Yep.
That's insane. And then, referrals are obviously uber profitable.
Yep.
Because you're bringing in more clients and you build better systems. So I think I don't think you need anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is I think you can mix some of those because I think you only have a certain amount of bandwidth, right? That you're able to manage these different sources. And like organic is a huge commitment.
Yeah.
Right. It's a huge time commitment, but it's 100%. Also a consistency commitment.
Yeah.
And so if you're not consistent, if you don't have the time to actually film all the content that you need to or write all the content that you need to, it's just not very effective.
Yeah.
And
you got to be consistent, right?
Super consistent. And I'm not talking for like weeks. I'm talking about years.
Yeah.
You have to play the macro game when it comes to content. So that's the thing is like you're either trading your time or you're trading your dollars for customer acquisition. Yeah. So it's like you either have to pay for paid ads, but there's a strategy involved there. And it's like not everything works, right? So you could be throwing dollars away.
Of course.
But on the other end, like as you're getting this content ramped up, you're just trading out a huge amount of time for a lower customer acquisition cost. But once again, that time horizon, it's much farther into the future, and that's what we're doing. Like we're definitely pushing hard on the content train right now. And I think Peter asked YouTube strategies as far as like what I'm doing as far as YouTube goes. So we're taking like a lot of these like live streams and we're bringing them into more micro content. So we'll probably take segments. So like customer acquisition, for example, that we've just talked about over the last 4 or 5 minutes, right? We can actually put that into a YouTube video, like a 5-minute, 6-minute YouTube video, and post it straight on YouTube. And it's like, of course, we have the live, but then we have these segments.
You can repurpose it almost.
Yeah, we can repurpose it into segments, right? And then we can have more micro content where we're driving it down into more 30-second clips, your TikToks, your Reels, your YouTube Shorts, right? And so it really comes from Gary Vaynerchuk, who has been talking about this for I don't know how many years now, but capturing content at a macro level and then bringing it down into micro, repurposing all of the stuff that you're shooting. It's really the best way to do it. And for us, like the live stream is just such an easy way to like get like an hour's worth of content and then bring it back down into like that micro content. So, but outside of like strategies for YouTube, Shorts is going to be massive in the next year. So they just brought paid advertising to YouTube Shorts
Really?
today or yesterday. So YouTube Shorts now has advertisements that will be running on it. So YouTube is very focused on pushing a lot of their attention onto Shorts. So YouTube Shorts, make sure you guys are doing that. If you're making TikToks and Reels, you might as well make them into short format. And just remember, on the short format, it's 60 seconds. Whereas in TikToks and Reels, you can have a lengthier reel, lengthier TikTok. And then also how the music works on YouTube Shorts is slightly different as well. So make sure you do a little bit of research on that before you start posting a lot on the Shorts, a lot on the TikToks. Yep. And then consistency, right? Like which we've already talked about. So the greatest strategy for YouTube is consistency. Like you have to be posting at least weekly. And someone that has done a really excellent job of this is Nick Terrio, who's been on our YouTube channel a couple times. He comes to agency therapy quite frequently as well. I mean, the guy makes 3 YouTube videos a week, posts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I think. And that's his entire acquisition channel is YouTube. Yeah, it's the only way he gets clients is through YouTube. And so he's been doing it now for 2 years. So it just reframes that consistency aspect.
Yeah, the thing is, the funny thing that sticks out to me is it's the consistency of everything. So even you talk to people that run ads, hey, I'm running ads, I cut the budget, or I'm not running them anymore. They weren't working. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, you ran them for 10 days.
Yeah, exactly.
And the same with outbound. Was it 50 emails? And it's, it's all about the consistency.
Yep.
So Nick, I know for a fact, was making videos and they weren't working.
Yeah.
And he was probably like, dang, I got to set all this crap up and repurpose this, or edit it or whatever. So it's all about the consistency. Whatever platform you do, you could probably get it to work. Because there's a case study for somebody building a successful agency with every type of outbound there is.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah. You probably find people that get clients on Pinterest, So it's like, it's just the consistency aspect.
Yeah, and understanding the platform.
Yeah.
As marketers, this is a great time to do a quick call to action because we got 11 people on the stream right now, which is awesome.
Be right back and get another LaCroix here.
John's going to grab a LaCroix. So this is a great chance for me to ask you guys. Yeah, don't forget to like on the video if you guys don't mind. Would greatly appreciate it. It goes a long way for us to reach new people in the agency space. If you guys would love to subscribe, we post content every single week on this platform. We do live streams. We're going to be doing more live streams more than once a week, and you'll see a lot more YouTube content coming from us. We got a bunch of new agency geared topics coming up. So let's answer some of these questions. Some of these other questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I got 600K profit case, a 600K profit case study for a real estate investor. What strategy should I do to get more clients?
Quinn's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Good dude.
Do you want me to go? You want to go?
Whatever.
Okay, I'll go. So if you have a case study, a great opportunity for you is to diversify that case study into different platforms, kind of like we were talking about with content, right? So if you ever go to Nick Terrio's channel, you'll notice that he does a lot of case studies, just laying out exactly what he did for clients and the strategy that he used, right? Mm-hmm. So make a YouTube video about it. Put it on your website, right? Have a long form piece of content written about that 600K profit case study. From there, take it into other forms of content, right? Make a short form piece on it of like, hey, the 3 things that we did to create a 600K profit for X client, right? So you can put it into different modes and different social platforms, and so push that case study. Like that's going to be one of your shining stars when it comes to building your credibility in the space. You just have to get it out on as many different platforms as you can. You can do it if you have an email list. You can put it into an email and say, hey, like this is how we generated this profit. And so once you like have a written piece, you can repurpose that written piece for email, for Twitter, for LinkedIn. You can put it everywhere. So if you have a great case study, try to get it out
Yep.
to as many people as you can, post on as many platforms, and don't be afraid to reutilize it. That's something that we see oftentimes is you'll post a case study once and then you'll never use it again.
Yeah.
Use it again. Like
Yep.
in 90 days from now, just reframe it a little bit, remix it, talk about how things may have changed.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it.
I nailed it, bro.
Yeah, and then I think I would do some outbound with it as well.
Yeah, outbound.
I think that's a juicy message for outbound after you've kind of warmed them up a little bit. And I know Josh rags on people all the time, but it's like, don't just slide into somebody's messages and be like, hey, bro, how's it going? You want to see my 600K case study? Like, because people are going to be like, really? So I would have a little bit of a conversation.
Yep.
And then I would be like, look, recently I had a client, real estate investor just like yourself. We generated him 600K profit. Figure this might be valuable to you. You want to see like a 4-minute video on how we did it? That could work well. And then I think that gets you some really hot sales calls.
Yeah,
you're ready to convert.
It's funny because I rag on cold outreach quite a bit, but we're actually looking at launching our own cold outreach.
You just have to do it right.
You just have to do it right. Like genuinely try to bring value to people if they are if you're gonna do outbound.
Yeah, and just mimic human interaction.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't just walk up to somebody and be like, "What's up, dude? I help entrepreneurs get 7-figure businesses," or like whatever the hook is. So what we always did that worked really well is we would actually just like, "Hey man, how's it going?" Like we're not necessarily that because that's like a lot of people don't respond to that, but like kind of some questions around the business. So one that used to work well for us was like, "What area are you serving primarily?
Yeah.
Are you doing this full time?" Stuff like that I think works because it's like you're opening them up a little bit.
Yeah.
And the old Isaac Newton, object in motion to stay in motion. So like if the conversation gets started, normally they'll continue the conversation. Sure. Even if it's just like, no, I'm not interested in a call right now. It's just like at least you're kind of seeing the conversation through,
Yeah.
But a lot of people just think like, oh, if I just send 500 messages, like I'll just play the numbers game and I'll at least get a couple. But like in reality, you'd rather have like 30 true, genuine connections.
Yeah, 100%.
Like Peter said there.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, genuine connections is going to be key. And if you have a great case study, there's a lot of value to be extracted from that. Yeah, so I wouldn't be afraid to like send people free resources. And sometimes you can like do a little digging on people's profiles, like go in and actually like understand the person and what they're struggling with, and try to bring them a piece of value instead of just going in for some sort of close.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agree.
How much time do you got?
We're good.
Okay, cool. Other questions. So, Peter, you mentioned here my 4 pillars for my organic content strategy: value first, consistency, genuine connection, identity-based community. Yeah, man, I think that's, a good place to start. I would have the styles of content in there as well. Like, hey, like these are the things that we're going to produce consistently. I think a lot of times we'll try to get ambitious and do a ton of different styles of content. And I would just recommend like getting good at one, right? And this is something that we struggled with when we first started was, man, like we tried a little bit of everything. And so we just weren't consistent at much. So what I did is I just brought it all the way back down. We just started with Twitter. And so we got really consistent on Twitter. We post every day. We build out, a week, 2 weeks worth of content. And that was extremely consistent. Once we got good at that, then we started to spread into YouTube. And, now we do a live stream every single week. Now we're taking these live streams and breaking them down into more micro content. So we're getting more consistent across all platforms, but that's the key, right, is the consistency side. Quinn, thank you, boys. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you.
What would you say to people who say no on outbound? People obsess over this. People like I don't know what it is, but like a lot of people, even myself, like even will obsess about like, well, if I have a no-show, how do I get them back on the calendar? And it's kind of like these are things that we obsess over. I think because we see them as like, oh, they were close. So like it'd be kind of like if you had to go find a date, you might think, well, maybe I should reach out to the girl that I knew in high school rather than some random girl. You know what I'm saying? Or like, it's kind of a bad example, but so a lot of people obsess over like when people say no to a call on outbound, like what should you say? I mean, I think like drop them a case study in the like most examples, but in other examples, just sayonara, like good luck. Reach out to me if you need anything. Let's stay connected. Or no hard feelings at all. Like let's part ways as friends. I think that the last thing you want to do is be the dude that's like trying to handle objections with somebody over Instagram DM.
Right.
Why don't you want to do a call with me? It's like it's weird.
Yeah.
So again, it's just like mimic human behavior. So if somebody says no, hey, awesome, let's part ways as friends. Another thing that I think would work, I haven't tried this, but it's one of those things that I speculate would work, is if you were like, cool, no hard feelings. I have a pretty sweet referral program if you know somebody else who may be looking for help with this. I think that would be cool, because then it's like, you don't have to pay me anything, but if you know somebody, I'll pay you. So it's kind of like flipping it on them a little bit.
Yep.
Which I think could be a cool thing to do. And then maybe a case study, stay connected with them, check in with them a couple months down the line. But like, I don't know. We used to get a lot of people that like, no, I don't want to do a call. And we'd be like, what do we need to do with all these people? Like, I don't know. I just think it's not a great use of time.
Yeah.
Better to go focus on fresh opportunities, I think.
Yeah, I always like to reverse engineer, like when people reach out to me too, of like, what did I not like about that interaction, and what would I have done differently? Like for us, like like we probably need more leads. Like that's something that we could probably use.
Every business could.
But at the end of the day, when people reach out to me and they're like, like the first message they send me is like, hey, we can get you 30 more.
Well, they don't even try.
30 more leads booked on your calendar. Is that something you'd be interested in? And it's like, dude, like you don't even know me. I don't even know you.
Yeah,
like,
to me, that's not even trying.
Yeah, it's not even trying, right?
Like, hey, Josh, how you doing?
Yeah, and so it's like you almost have to ask yourself, hey, how would I like to be interacted with? Like, hey, like, yeah, we could use more leads, and how can I bring value to that person?
Yeah.
Instead.
And it's also like they don't do like I like if somebody messaged me and was like, "Yo, love the thing that you did with XYZ," or "Love this piece of content that you did on."
Yep.
I think that would be good because you got to think like at some point you're posting on social media for some sort of validation, So it's like if people can kind of like stroke your ego a little bit, you might be more willing to respond to them.
100%. And that's where
make it about them.
Yeah, and then on a side note, like that's where you creating content on a platform really does help, right? Like you get consistent. So there's like noise around your name. And so when it comes to like, imagine if someone like Nick Shackelford or Eddie Malouf or Ashton Shanks, imagine if they sent you a cold DM.
Yeah.
Right? The credibility that name carries because of the success that they had, like that's the importance of you continually doing content, of you continually showing your case studies, because that's something those guys are great at. They show their results to other people, and the more that you show those things, right, the more credibility that you gain. And then all of a sudden, like people know about your name in the marketplace, and like, oh my gosh, like John reached out to me personally.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It actually holds some weight.
Yeah, it actually holds some weight. So Quinn asks, any way to get messages out of the request tab on IG, or do I need to follow them?
That's a good question.
And then they have to follow me back? I'm DMing my clients' followers that are investors.
I would follow them, because for me it's like if somebody's cold DMing me and I see they don't follow me, I'm like, really, bro? So you want to take my money, but you won't hit one button? Make your follow count go up by one number? So it's like I would follow them, because it at least shows like, hey, I'm kind of engaged in what you're doing and I actually care about you enough to at least give you a follow. So I'd follow them, and then I would comment. When I had my podcast, I interviewed some pretty cool dudes, and that was my strategy. Send them a DM, and then I would comment, hey, I left something for you in your DM. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Or check your DM.
Yeah.
That one worked really well for me. 2 words. Check DM.
Yeah, I love that.
And so I would do that.
There you go.
Because there's no way to, hack your way out of the request tab.
Oz said I came for John Danes. Huh. I feel like that's just disrespectful to me.
Man, can't blame him, right?
I can't blame him.
Love you, Oz. You're the man.
You're the Oz man. Daniel, I'm an entrepreneur rather than an entrepreneur. What's the best way to find a top tier agency and become a key player for them? Wow, it's really singing to my heart. So, Daniel, I was actually an entrepreneur in the agency that I was at. So was the COO of the company. Man, that's such a great question. So wherever you're at currently, I don't know if you're currently in an agency, but you have to be able to show, some level of expertise in whatever position that you're going after. So when you're an entrepreneur, like the opportunities tend to kind of come up as you do something great with other companies. So whatever opportunity that you're in right now, like give it your very best and try to get it to a milestone of like, yeah, like I was part of the reason that this company succeeded. and then it will give you more opportunities. So, after I, exited the agency that I was a part of, and was there for about 2.5 years, grew to multiple seven figures. I had multiple job offers on the table for, agencies, all over the country. And so once you do something spectacular with, one agency, the field kind of opens up for you, right? And so for me, I decided to go the entrepreneur route instead of the entrepreneur route because I'd been doing entrepreneur for 8 years at that point. And so for me, I was like, okay, like, this is a good opportunity for me to at least try to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And so you'll kind of have that opportunity to like choose if you want to be an entrepreneur versus an entrepreneur. And if you're truly an entrepreneur, which honestly, like sometimes I'm like, dang, like I feel like sometimes I'd be a better entrepreneur than entrepreneur. Then you have that opportunity, and the opportunities just kind of open up because you've done something great for the business that you're currently in. So go all in on the business that you're at. 2.5, 3 years, maybe try to get them to a point of multi seven figure run rate. Um, you know, build your leadership skills. Build whatever position that you're currently at. Like see if the entrepreneur, whoever you're working for, will get you the resources to continue to educate yourself and all of that, and then hopefully you get it to the point where you guys can exit or do something pretty cool.
Yep.
And then you'll be able to jump into a really large agency at one point, because people are always hiring for key
Roles that are
role
going to
players.
make them more money.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is not something that's going out of style, but you need to bring the resume, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to have done something
So
spectacular.
I'm surprised. This is interesting, Josh, because I thought you would say this. So you didn't start at a top tier agency. You joined a regular agency, then made it top tier.
Yeah. So
So that's an important distinction, because the way worded the question was, what's the best way to find a top tier agency? Because you're not going to go to Eddie or Ashton or Nick and just be like, "What's up, dude?"
We had no name. Like I wouldn't have had a name right for myself then. And for me, like I
And the agency you're working at didn't really either, though. You weren't joining a big agency.
So Welling Media, when we first started there, it was a low 5 figure per month agency. We were it was just me and the CEO at the time, Chandler Welling. And so for me, it was we had to build, right? And so over 2.5 years, we took it from a 5 figure per month agency to a multiple 7 figure per year agency. I don't know why the camera keeps turning off.
Tyler messed something up.
Tyler messed something up, man. But with all that being said, like I had to build my resume. Like it wasn't something where I was just like, I feel like I'm a key player. I feel like I'm a good entrepreneur. No. Like there is a resume that you have to build with it. So get early in with a company. A startup. I just had a great opportunity to join a startup and to get early on into a company. Luckily, I got a COO position. I didn't even know what COO meant when I started, but it will allow you to grow and spread your wings. So
I also think having a domain of focus is big. So don't just be the play the field guy. A lot of times when you're an entrepreneur, you got to be the play the field guy in the beginning. But if you're going to go to specific companies, if you have a certain thing that you're just amazing at, then I think that you'll get a lot more opportunities. So for instance, if somebody came to me and they're like, "Yo, I want to be your, client retention person, and I want to be your head of client success," and they had, you know, tangible things that they were going to do, and they just specialize in this one area, that would probably be potentially the highest paid person in my whole entire company if they could come in and fix that one thing. So I think that that's also a thing of when you were at Welling, you were really big on the ops, the hiring, the team. You had domains of focus.
Yep.
I don't think you dabbled with the sales too much or the marketing at all.
I would only take sales calls if there was an emergency where someone couldn't take a sales call. So I would jump on, and I was a horrible salesperson back then. I'm much better now. But back then it was like worst case scenario, Josh can take a call. Yeah. So I would say maybe a call a month. I would take.
Get a domain of focus is big.
Yeah.
I think we missed a couple of them.
Yeah, we definitely missed a few. Let me scroll.
And I love you, Oz. I was telling you that I love you, man. I don't know why you're saying that. Speak nice.
He's got your VSL.
This is an interesting one. How much time do you budget for responding, communicating with people prospects? So I don't talk to any prospects ever, right now at least. And I'm just that's the way I've set my agency up. And people, I think it just depends who, right? Because it's if frickin' Josh or somebody that's higher level wants to talked, and but I think in the beginning you do like a lot of just networking and pointless kind of calls. Did you do a lot of that when you first
Oh,
started?
100%.
You just get on like point. You're just talking to some dude
Yeah,
about some.
you take every call that you
Yeah.
possibly can at the beginning, right? And this is something that has changed for me over the last, I would say since the beginning of the year. Our first year, I was like, hey, I need to know everyone, and I need to get on the phone with everyone. And so for the first year, I had the time, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have a huge client list, and so for me, it was just getting the name out there and like doing things that would help build and grow the brand. And
Yeah.
so there is a time, and you'll start to feel this, and I always like was of the mentality like I'm gonna answer every call, I'm gonna answer every message, every DM, but at a certain point it becomes so difficult to stay on top of everything. And like I can't even imagine like what people like Gary Vaynerchuk have to go through, and people that like
I bet.
that have millions of followers, right? Because even with the following that I have, which is like 3,000 people, I get DMs every single day, and I get questions every single day. And it's like at a certain point, like you kind of hit your bandwidth,
Yeah.
and you're like, there are other things that take precedent over, responding to prospects or just communicating with people in general. And so you kind of section some things off, but like, at the end of the day, like I still try to respond to everyone in a timely manner if possible, but you do have to start to like protect your time a little bit more. So what I've started to do is actually block time for responses, even in my own Slack channels, right? So
Really?
yeah. So at the beginning of day,
You're efficient, bro.
I try to be efficient. So I block time because, dude, like if if you think about like how your attention is pulled, like every notification through Slack, through Instagram, through every platform that you communicate on, it's like there's something constantly popping up. So for me, like I put do not disturb on pretty much all of my notifications at certain points of the day. Now that morning block for me from like 5 a.m. to about 9 o'clock, no communication during that time. The only person that can get through to me is my wife and my business partner. No one else can get through to me at that time. Do not disturb is on, so I'm not.
What about me?
I would maybe answer you if I saw it come through. But
I
normally,
call you during the day sometimes, and you're not too great at responding.
yeah, I'm horrible responding during the day. But normally 10 o'clock
Jerk.
from 10 o'clock to noon is like when I get through like client messages, because that's like when they're active and they're awake and kind of getting going for their day. So it's like I do segment time because I know from like 10 to like 3, I'm just gonna get bombarded with messages. So I don't even schedule like much productive work during that time. That's why I protect my morning so efficiently, is because
I don't do anything.
this is where this is where I get most of my work done. All my work is done by about 10 a.m. in the morning.
That's crazy.
Everything else is responding to DMs, making content, just being at the will of pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's helpful, Peter.
I think Oz asked a question.
There's a couple questions.
Oz said how important is working out. I think working out is incredibly important.
Yeah, man. I mean, you look at some of the most efficient, most successful people. I think they're in great shape, and they not only exercise their mind, but they exercise their bodies. I mean, there's a lot of studies that will show you that exercise, nutrition, all play into a more efficient mind and better energy throughout the day. So, if you're not on a workout routine, if your nutrition is not dialed in, man, like I recommend getting on it. And it's like we all know what to eat. We just have a hard time doing it. And like this is something that I've even struggled with at times. And I'm I work out pretty regularly, but yeah, man, like gotta have the workout routine, and that could be an entire segment by itself. I feel like, but yeah, 100%. Make sure you guys are getting that fitness on. Like even you've been jumping back onto the fitness game recently. And like you even say like I feel
you feel
so much better, right?
Yeah.
Like you get the body moving, and I think when you get the body moving,
especially if you work from home a lot and you're home all day.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, dude, like we sit at a computer all day. We just get tight through like these, they call them like anterior muscles, right? These chest, pecs,
Where'd
legs.
you learn that?
Well, that was my previous life.
Exercise science, gentlemen here.
So yeah, you guys make sure you're exercising. Make sure you like get some stretching in at a minimum. Like stay moving. Super important. So we got a few more questions here. Paid off debt and closed all credit cards last year after Dave Ramsey crisis. LOL. Now can't get approved for any business CCs or personal Equifax shows no score. Any tips? So a lot of times, if you have like no credit or very bad credit, you can get like like department store credit cards
Really?
at a very low credit score. So if you go to
Huh.
Target, if you go to like Kohl's, you can sign up
Kohl's Cash.
a little Kohl's credit
Let's
card.
go.
So my first credit card when I started building credit was actually a Target credit card. I had a $500 limit. And so
you're gonna say I had a 500 credit score.
a 500 credit score. No.
No, I got a Nordstrom one. That's what I had with
Yeah.
my first one.
Yeah, department stores are a great place to get your first credit card.
I think that's $600 on it, or 700.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of credit, but if you're looking to start building credit, that's a great place to start. So yeah, and then just make sure you pay your bills on time, and I think you also build credit through like utilities. So if you have a rental property or whatever, you'll get credit from utilities as well.
Yep.
So I'm not like the best person on credit. I've just always paid my stuff on time, so my credit score is really solid.
Yeah. I'm a credit expert here, so.
Are you?
Yeah, I got probably like 150K in credit lines at any time. So I know what I'm doing on the credit at least a little bit. So what I would say is you might need to just make a new LLC because they might be looking at your LLC more than your personal. And then the second thing is I know a lot of people that will pay to be an authorized user on somebody that's got good established credits account. So for instance, if you know somebody like, that's making good money, has great credit, some people will pay them to be an authorized user on their account.
Oh.
And then
that's smart.
It grows you in an extension.
Yeah. So it's a time thing in my opinion too. Like you just have to continue to build it.
Yeah.
So and yeah, don't follow too many of Dave. Like if you have debt, then follow Dave Ramsey, but outside of that, that's pretty much all he's good for. How much time do you spend optimizing? How much time do you spend optimizing your sales deck messaging in your sales process?
Yeah.
Is it after 100 calls or something like that?
I'd say 30 to 50 calls, you get an idea of what's working, what's not. Small changes, you can make small changes at any time. I wouldn't make minor changes or major changes unless something's going really wrong. So like, for instance, like one of my sales guys was like, hey, we got a new case study. Can we put this case study in the deck and trade it out for that one? Of course. That's just like, yeah, duh. But if it's like, hey, we want to change 5 different slides, like extremely extreme changes, then we got to have some real good data showing us that we need to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Number 1 book recommendations for systems thinking, Systemology by David Jennings, something like that. So Systemology, go check that out.
David J.
Great book on it's relatively new, so it's a definitely a up to date system type book. And then after that, maybe Scaling Up by
Vern Harnish.
Big
Vern.
Big purple book.
Beast.
So actually one of the books that kind of build a lot of the foundation of what we coach in Hydra. So definitely check out Scaling Up at some point as well. Being more intentional about building systems to get out of delivery. Yes, 100%. That's the whole point of building systems, is so you can get out of certain aspects of fulfillment for your agency. So nice job, Oz. Not too shabby. Also, silly question for Josh. Can you send the link for the lighting that you use in your space for the videos? I'd love a YouTube video on your video setup as an operator / creator. Yeah, absolutely. So the light that we're currently using is just like an Amazon spotlight, but I will, Peter, I'll send you the link in your Instagram DMs after this session. So, but yeah, it's a relatively simple setup. I think it'll cost you maybe like $150 all in. So I'll send you. We have a nice little diffuser on it as well, which we have a lot of natural light in here today as well. So
yeah,
we're in
my BSL with this.
We're in the office, so
yeah. I'm gonna hit these 2 questions and I gotta go.
Yeah. John has to run here in a second. So
when do you know it's time to hire someone for a role? Okay, so the way I think about it is you make more money with your business, your time becomes more valuable by definition, not just like hypothetically, and but by definition, when you make more money, you have more. Your time is more valuable, right? So when you get to a point where it doesn't really make sense for you to do things anymore, then that's when you say, okay, maybe I should start to look to hire somebody for this role, right? So it's like, it depends what you're trying to build, but if you get to a point where you're like, look, I'm doing this activity when I could be doing this other activity that would make me much more money and be a better use of time, then it might make sense to hire that role. So for instance, like let's say you're a beast on sales calls, but you're spending a lot of time generating sales calls, then you might want to look at getting somebody to help you generate the calls so you can just focus on taking the calls and, closing deals. So that would be my 2 cents on that is whenever it doesn't make sense for you to do something anymore because you have better things to focus on. Because like you don't want to be the company that has really low profit margin and a lot of free time, right? It's just pointless, right? Because it's like, you know, it just doesn't make sense to be that company. So hope that makes sense. Number one metric you're paying attention to. This is tough. We're running a lot of ads, so I guess I would have to say like my cash on cash return on ad spend is probably like the number one that I'm looking at, thinking about. MRR is obviously big, and then new clients, monthly new clients.
Yeah.
So there's kind of three.
There you go. Good stuff, John. Appreciate you coming, bro.
Use that elbow on the
John,
hand on the elbow to close 20%
yeah,
deals.
of course. John has to split here. Has another meeting that he's running to. But you guys, if you have any last questions, happy to answer any last questions for you guys. If not, we'll roll it up for the day. Yeah, dude. We'll see you later. You guys don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Well, I guess you guys have already commented a ton, but like, subscribe to the channel. We do these lives all the time. John jumps in just every once in a while and does a live stream with us, so super grateful for when he does jump in. But any last questions? We'll wait here for a second if you got them. If not, no worries. But appreciate you guys hopping in. We also have a Discord channel that you guys can jump in as well if you're interested. It is 100% free. You can jump in there, ask questions at any time. A bunch of agency owners, like-minded individuals in that channel. So love to see you guys in that as well. But wait here for another 10, 15 seconds if you guys have other questions. John's goated. Yeah, 100%. John's a killer in the agency space, so super appreciative of him. Yeah, we got a bunch of cool stuff going on in the Hydra Council in the next couple of weeks. So Hydra Council will be coming up pretty soon. So if you guys are interested in coming to an agency event, learn what it takes to build a 7-8 figure agency, that's what we'll be talking about. We got speakers like Tommy Patterson, Chandler Welling. John will be speaking there as well. Who else? Who else we got? We got Steph McDonald from Heeman Group. We got Ashton Shank. So a lot of great agency people that'll be joining us as well. So, but I don't think any other questions are rolling through. Oh, Oz had another one here. Peter, of course, man, thanks for stopping by. Always good to see you. Best way to handle price bump renewals. So I think the question is like, how do we take, when we renew someone and we're wanting to essentially implement a new pricing structure around that renewal, right? So you're going to increase your pricing for that renewal. Yeah, man. Inflation is a real thing, right? And so we just have to be very honest and speak with candor when going in for the renewal. Be like, hey guys, we really enjoy working with you guys. Just a heads up, pricing will be increasing by X amount, right? And so whatever it is, like just be upfront about it. Don't feel like you have to beat around the bush. And be like, hey, just so you guys know, for the same amount of content, we're now charging, this much, right? We love to continue to do business with you guys and earn your business. This is what the new agreement would look like for the same terms. It'll be this amount. How do you guys feel about that, right? And so allow them to, obviously give you feedback. But hey, things are more expensive now. Inflation is a very real thing. So yeah, absolutely, you can go ahead and price bump. You just have to be very open and honest about it. So, Prashant, man, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. All right, crew. Guys, thank you so much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Agency Therapy Live. We are going to be doing more live segments with other people like this. If you guys didn't see Chris Evans last week from Traffic and Funnels, it was a great one. You guys can go back, rewatch that. One more time, if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, would absolutely appreciate you guys for doing that. But thank you so much for stopping in today. We do this every week, every Thursday. So next week, we're going to jump into the agency secret letters a little bit from for media marketing and Eddie Malouf. So excited to dive into those. We're going to try and do more live streams. And if you miss them, it's totally cool, but we're going to start scheduling them inside of the YouTube channel. And of course, I'll post a schedule as well. But more YouTube lives coming through the woodwork. We're going to be just doing more segments. We're going to be inviting more people on and doing more live streams with people. So much love, guys. Thanks so much. And we'll talk soon. Peace.